Hello folks, you're watching Jiffy Info. I'm Jiffy, and here is some info. So hello folks, thank you for joining me for a new Jiffy Info show. I'm doing a fairly token thing here. A lot of YouTubers tend to do this, of listing their favourite games of the year just past. I'm not really doing that so much. I'm just listing a bunch of things that have been notable in my eyes from 2015. Without further ado, let me just get straight into it. The first thing, The Witcher 3. There's no real surprise there. If you've watched any of my videos, chances are I've mentioned The Witcher 3. It's fantastic. I'm going to sort of just breeze over this one because it's obvious. I don't know of any. I think a lot of big gaming industry magazines or reporters or whatever have listed it as their top game of the year. Understandable. It's a beautiful, immersive, emotional roller coaster of a game. It's really, really good. So if you haven't played it, I recommend it. And that's probably why I'm not doing this in any particular order of most notable to least notable or anything like that. But it is probably number one for a good reason there. It's really worth your time if you haven't already spent time in it. Something else I was going to talk about as well, it's kind of a nice sort of segue from a really good game to a really bad game. That sounds harsh, but Fallout 4. It's very weird for this game. I was looking at trailers immediately. I was like, oh, that doesn't look too good. Then after that, I was like, oh, actually no, the gameplay looks really fun. Oh, it looks really cool. Second, then it's like, oh, well, it could be really disappointing though. So I was a bit, I was a roller coaster on this sense as well, where I really wasn't too sure on my thoughts of Fallout 4. When the game came out, immediately I was like, oh no, this is cool. I like the the introduction to it. I got about 5 hours in, and I was like thinking, there's something missing. Something's missing. Got about 10 hours in, and by that stage, I'd completely disregarded the storyline and the game itself. I've just been pissed off with the performance issues. I'm not going to go into detail, but my PC is good. It should be able to run this game on maximum settings, 60 FPS. The game barely reaches 20 FPS half the time. It's a ball ache to try and get it to work properly, even on low settings. So something's gone tits up there. Bethesda have let me down. They've let a lot of people down. A lot of people are very disappointed in this game. And unfortunately, it's memorable for pretty much all the wrong reasons. So I'm sorry to say that Fallout 4, you're not up there with my favourite game of the year. You're actually down there. It's probably my most hated game of the year. But oh well, c'est la vie. Maybe the next Elder Scrolls game will be better. One can only hope. I think they're going to have to buck up their ideas. They are on dangerous ground, I think, by doing this, because Skyrim did a great job at reinventing stuff. Really, let's face it did. And then Fallout 4 did very much what New Vegas has already, and it just didn't innovate enough. It was disappointing. But I'm sure you heard that enough from other people. I've kind of hit two obvious things, Witcher 3 being great, the Fallout 4 being bad. So let's talk about something a little different. Early access on Steam. Now that's nothing new. It's been around for a long time. But I found myself playing a lot of early access games in 2015. Maybe because it sort of picks up enough steam to picks up enough audience to actually start developing more and more games. Or all those green light things from years back are finally being released. So one of them I would mention is, again, it didn't come out in 2015, but The Forest. I played that this year. Disappointed. You spend quite a bit of money on something like that, and it just doesn't end up providing a good experience. It's buggy as fuck. It looks good, but it doesn't really hold any kind of good sort of. It doesn't really give you a good experience because it's very buggy. Frame rate is bad optimization. Same sort of thing applies to Ark Survival, although I never played it. People with even great rigs just can't get a good frame rate out of it. So I'm not sure, actually. I haven't played The Forest in a while now, so maybe it's been updated and changed and optimized better, but so far my experience has been bad. Alongside that as well, Daisy, the standalone, it's bad, enough said. Having said that, Early Access also has got its few diamonds in the rough. Starbound is definitely one of them. I had a planned long playthrough with that game. I put plenty of hours into it, and then instantly there's something wrong with me, I swear to God. The file got corrupted and I can't do any more. I basically wasted a few hours of gameplay without having really to upload it. But Starbound was good, and it is good, and I'm looking forward to more updates. Alongside that, The Long Dark is also definitely in that list. It's so good. It does actually compete as probably one of my favorite games of the year. So it is a very, very fun experience. I think the best way to do it is if your PC can run it. If you like survival games, don't look too much into it if you haven't. I think it's really good going into it and essentially like a noob, not knowing what to expect, because it makes sense. Everything makes sense. You can do lots of things that you wouldn't expect to be able to do in any normal survival game. Instead of something like, oh, I found food, can I eat it? You should cook it first. That sort of thing. I mean, it just common sense prevails in that game. So if you haven't played it, if you don't know anything about it, it's probably the best way to do it. Get involved, just play the game. It's not expensive either. For the amount of hours you can put into that game, it's worth it. On another topic, from good games that are fun, like Long Dark, let's go into bad games that are not fun, like Assassin's Creed. Unity came out obviously at the end of 2014, and I played it in 2015 as well. And when Syndicate was released, or announced and released, I hadn't played it, but I looked at it and just everything, I hated Unity. I hate it with every part of my being because of the amount of money that you spend on these bullshit games. And unfortunately, these games that you buy, you expect to have something decent out of it because you're spending nearly 50 quid on a game, and it doesn't provide any sort of good experience. I find it such a grumpy guy talking about these games and talking about these memorable experiences of the year, but to be fair, I have a lot of them. You remember the bad things, don't you? It's far easier to remember the bad experiences. And Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft, they are a bad experience as far as I can see at the moment. They are just pulling out all kinds of shit from their ass and slapping it in the face of the consumer. And people buy it. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people who bought it in... I bought Unity, obviously, and I gave it as much time as I could, but it was so bad. It ran badly. It's on PS4 as well, so you expect it to hit a sort of level of consistency because it was made for that. But it was awful. It was very, very bad. So when Syndicate came out, that in my opinion was memorable, just because I laughed myself like silly. What fucking jeez. I laughed myself silly apparently, because the game was just looking at it was just like, oh, it's Unity again in London with a few extra like gimmicks that will no doubt get boring fast. It's a real ball ache to see Ubisoft doing this shit and people buying it. Unfortunately, I know I'm not saying that people are idiots for doing it because I did it, unless I'm calling myself an idiot, which in all fairness I probably should because I feel like an idiot for buying them. But yeah, as Ubisoft need to pull their thumb out and actually do something that isn't hated by most consumers, because they are seriously fucking everyone over by doing it, and I don't see how they want to have a reputation like that. It's horseshit. It's really bad. It makes me very angry, as you can probably tell. Right, moving on. Metal Gear Solid 5, probably one of the best games I've played all year as well. This is fast turning into a mix of favourite games to worst games. Metal Gear Solid 5 is a great game. I played the series mainly this year. I played a few of them before, but I really got into it this year. I played it basically from start to finish of the year, or start of finish of like beginning of the year to like 6 months in. I was just constantly Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear. I bought the HD collection. I played Metal Gear Solid 4. I think that's what it is. It is, yeah. Basically with old Solid Snake. I played that one. Oh, it's so good. And that was probably one of the playing Metal Gear Solid 5 kind of just trumps it. It's less of a Metal Gear Solid 5 my best game of the year or one of the best games of the year. It was more Metal Gear Solid as a series. Was probably just a really notable experience for me. It was so fun to get involved in that sort of in that world that Kojima has created. It's so exciting and so funny and so every good thing you can think of. Halfway through Metal Gear Solid 5 it kind of drops off, but I don't really hold that much against the game because I know it wasn't really intended for that to be that way. It was really fun though, and I'm sure you've played the game. I'm sure you can concur with what I'm saying. It's very good. And the last thing, let's end on some happy notes, hey? Capcom has announced Dragon's Dogma for PC. Whoopee, finally. I was waiting for it for years. I really didn't think it would ever happen. and incidentally is now being released in about 5 days' time. It's released on the 15th, and bugger me, that game is going to be great. I really hope it is. Anyway, I know that some games can be badly ported over, but I've seen gameplay on numerous different YouTube accounts. Like, I don't know how they got their hands on it, but they did, and it looks really cool. It looks really, really good. So it's released on Steam in 5 days, and I'll be purchasing it, no doubt. But that's pretty much it, really. Those are the most notable things I could think of 2015, referring to games, obviously. And it has been a good year. I think people have hailed as one of the best games of recent times, best years of recent times for gaming. And I can't really disagree. I mean, like, I didn't even mention some other games like Bloodborne. My mind's gone blank. A bunch of others, I'm sure. And Elite Dangerous as well, which you're probably most likely watching in the background right now. And that blew me away. That's actually one of my favourite games of the year as well. I've only just recently started playing it, and it's really, really impressed me. So yeah, but that's pretty much it, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. If this is the sort of thing that you want to see more of, then unfortunately you're going to have to wait until the end of the year again for me to talk about it. But yeah, if you did enjoy it, it would be really cool if you just give me a like. Subscribe if you want to see any more of this sort of stuff. I tend to play a few games. It comes every now and again. I'm thinking about maybe doing a few reviews for a few games that I've been playing recently as well. Elite Dangerous might be one of them. But yeah, let me know what you think. And if you have enjoyed 2015, then great. If you're looking forward to 2016, let me know what you're interested in. Probably the things I'm most looking forward to are, not counting Dragon's Dogma, Uncharted, and No Man's Sky when that eventually gets a release date. But anyway, I'm going on. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll catch you lot another time.